buckle up, get ready, and this is a video game podcast, and let's do this, boys. I played Resident Evil 3. I also played Resident Evil 2. You jumped into Resident Evil 2 for the first time last week. You played it. You beat it. Give me some thoughts. Give us a little review about the game. Backlog review. Give it to me.
How do you feel about it?
Did
you like Mr.X? Yeah. Did you love Mr.X?
Mr.X, it was awesome, man. So good. So good. Okay, the game is great, guys. I don't like these types of games really at all. But I'm a big fan of horror. Like, I think it's like hilarious.
You're a big whore?
I'm a whore.
Oh.
Yeah.
Same. Oh, horror. Yeah. Horror. I think it's horror. Okay.
I'm both. I'm into horror and I'm a whore. So anyway, this game is really, really great. I really, really, really like this. The layout of the game, it feels a lot like Luigi's Mansion. Tim really chalked it up like that. Really does feel like that, where you're starting to unlock certain parts of this game as you're going through it. I think the game is hilarious because there's just this crazy ass guy behind me just chasing you through the game. What I was kind of worried about with this game is that it was going to be kind of like Metro, where it takes itself so serious that it kind of loses me in it. It was silly at times. I was laughing when Mr. X comes out and he's just your guy's like, Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
You see him coming down the hallway.
He's wearing his little.
We all know.
You know what's my favorite is he's wearing his little fedora, and then
and then you shoot it off and you get a trophy for it.
You shoot it off, get a trophy, and then later in the game, there's a safe room, and you'll see the little fedora on the little table.
Yeah, I love that game.
Can you wear the fedora after the fact?
No, I wish that was a costume option.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah.
There.
But the game is really cool. So I only played Leon's questline. There's two, and there's an alternate ending if you play Claire's questline. I kind of just ripped through that game. It took me around 9 hours to beat. So not a very long game, but I thought it was just long enough. I thought if it went any longer for a game like this, I would start getting turned off by it. Tim told me that Claire's questline is, once you kind of know the dynamic of the game and how it works, it goes a lot faster. I found myself after I left the police station, I was in the sewers. It started really going fast through the game, which was good. I think the game is great. I think anyone should play this game. Only do not play it if you're not into horror. I actually I had a nightmare last night where I got bit in the neck by a zombie and I woke up when I was bit.
Dude, damn. Dude, that shit's scary.
I'm thinking about this shit night and day. It was a very, very good game, Maze. If you're gonna play this game, I would suggest playing it with the light on.
So
and I would suggest
not in pitch blackness, not in pitch darkness.
And I don't know, Maze, if you would like this type of game. It's
I said, it's been a while. I played which one was it again on the GameCube?
RE4.
4.
Yeah.
Played on the GameCube. Don't know why I did it. I did it. Not a huge horror game fan.
Yeah, it's if you're not into horror, stay away from this game. It's
I'm only into horrors. I mean horror when I'm with a group of people.
Same. No, dude.
So
Maze.
Great, really, really, really good game. I think it's really fun. I think it's cool how you can grab different equipment. It allows you to explore a little bit, look around. The game is gorgeous. So you're really diving into this place. You really want to explore every little nook and cranny. I didn't find almost every single thing in that game. There's a ton of stuff that I left behind.
Did you did you see what was really cool? Did you get back up and see how the whole world is actually connected? The whole thing, for instance, there's that.
Yeah. So you ride the elevator back up and then you're back in the it's back connected from the workers room and stuff like that. And I got a bunch of the extra guns. I went back in and that was very cool. I thought that the police station was probably the scariest part of the game. So if you can get over the first part of the game, you'll be fine. It turned kind of into a sci-fi horror towards the end. with all the technical stuff. But I was like playing the game, and as I was going through it, I was like, man, this would get really scary if it was like a medical office or something, and then at the end of the game is like medical stuff, and I'm like, okay, this is getting fucking creepy.
Yeah,
so,
and then like, but no, I'm with you on that, and I think the second campaign even does it even more justice. I think that the second campaign kind of is one more layer onto the game, and there's certain sections of the second campaign that you don't see in the first campaign. But I think that if you're going through, looking back on the whole thing now, I think the second campaign, like, you really don't need to play it, but if you want to see everything,
yeah. If you really want more, I really like the game, so I'm gonna keep it, and like Tim let me borrow it, so like I'm gonna keep it up here. When in my free time I might continue to play it. There's just a lot on my plate right now that I kind of want to keep hammering away, but this one I didn't want to miss out on because this was a Game of the Year nominee, and I owe it that to play it, so
now
I'm really happy I took the ride. It was a very good game.
Now, what would you give it for a ranking, and why would you give it that ranking?
Like, okay, so what do you mean, like a score?
Yeah, like what would you give it for a score?
How many X's are you going to give it?
X is going to give it to you. Mr.X is going to give it to you. Okay, so Bill.
So how many X's are he giving you?
I'm gonna give it a I think for what it is, I'm gonna give it a higher score than Tim. I think the game is like an 8 for the genre of what it is, or a 9. Like I think like anywhere in that ballpark. I think Metacritic scored it like just on the money. I think the game is really what a horror game is supposed to be. It's not too long. And with those types of games, if they're too long, then you lose that scariness factor to it. So I think it's just long enough. I felt like I got quality out of it, because if I wanted to play it again, I could go back and play it and get another 5 or 6 hours out of that game, and then finish the game in around 15 hours total. That's a good like long game for what that type of genre is, I think. And it's a first person shooter, like, so it's, and I don't like first person shooters much. I mean, my favorite game is Metroid Prime.
Well, it's not a first person shooter, it's a third person.
It's a third person, but it's
God,
like,
get it right, you dumb fuck.
Yeah. You tell him, Maze. You tell him.
You know what I mean. It's like, I'm not a big shooter guy. Like I don't play in the gulag
with Maze. We are a weekly podcast that can be found on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Podcast One, wherever you name it. And
I think you're making shit up now.
We will be in your ear hole.
Podcast
You
One.
almost got through it, Tim. You almost got through it.